Hey guys, so today we're going to try to remove people from the background. This usually happens when I have parents spotting, and like I tell my clients, I would much rather Photoshop you out than something bad happening. So this is what I'm doing here, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. So first thing I did was I duplicated the background layer, as you guys saw right there, and all I did was hit Command J on my keyboard or Control J if you are on a PC. And now I'm using my stamp tool and my patch tool, which you can see highlighted there on the left hand side. The patch tool looks like a little like I guess patch. It has like stitching around it. The stamp tool looks more like a rubber stamp with a seal kind of thing. And the reason why I switch between both of those is because one gives me more control than the other. So the difference between the two tools is how they work. So the patch tool will blend things and kind of try to mesh different zones of the image, so the pixels will kind of bleed into each other, versus the stamp tool, which is basically kind of like a clone image. So we're kind of manually telling the pixels where to go versus the computer or Photoshop trying to render the pixels the way that it thinks it should go. So here we see how it's not really matching, and I'm trying to blend it together with the stamp tool. So I just have to go over, and you have to be very cautious about where your source is coming from. So meaning where you're getting the pixels from. You can accidentally get the wrong, image part. The brightness can be different, and you just have to kind of play around. And that does take a little while you're editing. And this trick I love. This is hitting the W, which brings up your wand tool. This is the wand tool. Now, for things that are like his hands or really close up details, I'm using right here a 3x3 average and the tolerance of 10. You can bump that up if you want to add more, but all I'm doing is I am clicking around. I'm using the shift key to kind of add more location, like the more spots. But all I do is I create that little copy, like that little trace, and then I go copy it near the like general color area, as I did right there, and quite literally copy it. So I press Command C for copying, and then it brings over all of that and it creates a sharp line. And then here I'm doing, like, you can do the same thing, and usually I do that on its own layer. So I try to do as little damage to the original as possible. So I'm just going to continue to do this, and it's a lot of doing very small, like slow brush strokes and all of that. So when you're editing something like this, you have to have a lot of patience. So yeah, and I'm sorry for saying so 1,000 times. I'm very aware of it now. Like I said, we just got to use a mixture of different tools. Here I am back at it with the patch tool, and once we zoom out, we can kind of see how mom has left the building basically, and we're going to continue to do that. But if you notice in here, we have mom's hand, and she's kind of pulling at his skin. So how are we going to fix that, right? Thankfully, when I shoot, I try to get two shots. So I try to get the mom holding on one side and then holding on the other side. So here's the image of mom holding on the other side. So we're going to use this part to paste it onto this. So we're going to finish this little edge off, and then we're going to go ahead and copy and paste the other image onto this image. So now we have just edited out mom on this layer, and we can go ahead and create a snapshot and flatten. So the reason why I create a snapshot is so in case anything happens, I can go back to that point in editing. Now using the lasso tool, we're going to select that portion of the image. And like I said, I just hit Command C and now I press Command V. And I'm going to try to kind of match it up to where it seems the most natural. And now we're going to add a layer mask to it so we can brush it on and off. And while we're doing this, we can readjust this layer since it's not connected to the background. Just hitting Command T to transform and then just moving it around, finding a good angle again. And that's it. We're just gonna try to build this up, make it look as natural as possible. Just using that brush, brushing it on, brushing it off, readjusting where needed. And yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just really time consuming. Okay, so now we still have that hand under there. All we've done is the top portion, but we're gonna go back and we're gonna steal another part of the image, basically. And the reason why I didn't choose both of those parts together is because they're at different angles in the image, so it would have created more of a problem since they're not gonna line up exactly. And again, I did flatten the image here. Just going to paste and try to find a good location. And this time, all we're doing is we're trying to find it for the shorts. We're not trying to do his skin or anything. And that's why I said that we're not like trying to do two at the same time since they're not at the same angle. And it would just been harder. This is the easiest route we could have done. And again, with the transforming tool, we're just trying to get it to line up as natural as possible. They're at the hemline, and then we're gonna go ahead and brush it on. So now that that's done, all I'm gonna do is some final touches like distracting things, strings coming off of the clothing, just some final touches. And I'm going in and I'm just doing that with my patch tool. Yeah, I think once we've got it all, we're pretty much ready to go. This image is like if mom wasn't there at all. So here we have the whole image after. So I'm going to take a quick snapshot again and flatten the image. Again, another snapshot. So here's before and that's after. And I hope you guys learned something new and I will talk to you soon. Bye!